Bum ba da da dee da da dee da 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 dum. Bum ba dee da dee da da ba da 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 ba dum. Bum ba da dee da 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 dee da da da. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and welcome to this new season, season 6, can you believe it, of the Tuesday telecast from The Joyful Path. And I am super excited to be here. It is winter now in Vermont, and actually it's late autumn, but we have some snow on the ground. And things are moving along. Energy is flying, and energy is beautiful all over the world with a lot of individual sparks. And I'm going to introduce you to somebody who you may or may not have heard of, who is a bright individual spark who has touched so many lives that it should be really inspirational for you. And hear about his why. So, without further ado, I can see that Unisa Kamara is in the house. So, let's bring him onto the stage. Hello, Unisa.
Hello, Lydia. How are you?
I am fantastic and even better now that you're here.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being in your midst.
It is a pleasure to have you here and an honor. So, I want to just get everybody to have an idea of you. You have started Kamara Youths. You are the CEO of Diamond Television and um, the Global Speakers platform and so many things that people may have come across you on, or they may not have. And so you're a big CEO, and but it's not about that. It's about you and about your journey. I want to just talk about that journey. I mean, how you got to doing all this stuff. So talk to us.
Well, thank you. You know, Lydia, they always say it's not where you start from, but where you end. And I started off in a community, in a neighborhood where I've seen many of my friends get killed. I lost my girlfriend at the time who was shot in the head, and I was shot in the neck and in the hip. And being in the hospital, having someone that I did not know come and talk to me, telling me that I have so much potential within me.
Mm.
This is not my journey. I think literally woke me up to a point that I said, well, I cannot see me working for anybody. You understand? And I feel as if I can accomplish everything that I can accomplish, that I have accomplished, Lydia, there's nothing that we cannot do because we have all the tools that we need and within us. You know, think about a young boy from Africa moving to America at the age of 9 and then selling drugs, being beat up, going to jail, being shot, being stabbed to a position where he's now sitting with mayors, diplomats, presidents from different countries, and even speaking at the parliament. Who can imagine a boy that people say he's going to die in jail or he's going to die in the streets? So the
And yet,
transition
what better
period,
preparation for a strong life than to actually rise up from and see the adversity? If we've never seen the adversity, how are we going to get to a place of being able to speak at Parliament, to be able to do anything to lift anyone else if we haven't felt it ourselves?
that's a fact.
That
You know,
little boy is somebody that should be revered for all of the possibility in that little boy. But that's not what we do in this society, is it?
Unfortunately not. You know, when my son got killed, I started building male youths where we elevate, I say the next generation,
Yeah.
because we work so hard, we're consistently striving. And I feel as though if we don't empower the next generation, how are they going to empower the next generation? So when I talk to a youth, I try to see me in them. You
Mm.
understand? I try to embody that woman that used to come sit in my hospital room onto these young people because they have the tool. They're just confused because we all been through that as youths. We're trying to find our place in society. We're trying to discover who we are. So we are facing these challenges as youths, and society is piling on top of that. And all these youths are trying to do is find someone who can just render an ear to say, I hear you, I've been through that, or just to sit there and listen.
Listen, yeah.
That makes a difference to somebody. They say sometimes when somebody is grieving, they don't want you to talk to them. They just want you to be that shoulder.
Yes,
And that's what these kids need.
yes, yes. That's what everybody needs. If we don't allow ourselves to receive it because we think that we're stronger than that, because we have to have some idea in our mind that we are that we need armor. We don't need armor. We need to go out there and allow ourselves to be heard and to listen with all our heart,
Yeah,
with our ears wide open and with our ego put aside, and just listen. We're
that's a,
that for one another. It's the best thing in the world.
we as human beings, Lydia, we're social beings. But the saddest thing is that we tend to isolate ourselves. Why? Society's telling me I can't cry. I cried on national television. I was doing a show because I've had about two or three different TV shows
Yeah.
where a woman was raped or a child was raped. Those are things that, even though I read it about it, but when I talk about it, I'm very visual.
Yes.
I would cry. I don't care what people think about me. People are going to have an impression of me anyway.
That's
You
right.
understand?
That's
I
right.
have children. I have a mother. I have sisters. I have other, extended family members. I would not want them to go there, feel that pain. So I express myself. So in life, it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay for us to connect as human beings because that's part of the journey. We have to trust the process of the journey, if that makes sense.
Yes, and it's not easy for people to trust that because we have been we have been hurt and we have been told different stories and it becomes confusing, so we don't trust. Where did you start to trust after being in the hospital? You mentioned this woman who kept coming to you. Did you trust her, or where did trust start to come in for you?
The thing is, I come from a family, my older sister worked for the United Nations.
Mhm.
And there's my brother who's a partner at a law firm. And my other brother, who's under him, is a director for the MTA, who's also a lawyer that might. So everybody have a crown on their head or whatever. So they try to tell you how to live your life. Lydia, guess who was rebellious?
Right on.
You're gonna tell me what to do.
Someone's got to break out of that mold and pop off that bell curve.
So I started relying on the streets. You know, I started depending on my friends that they're going to be there for me. My family don't understand me. When indeed they were just trying to guide me to become who I was meant to be.
Yeah.
So me relying on the streets is like the dumb leading the dumb. So it's like, hey, yes, so I trusted them until a situation occurred that kind of woke me up, which indeed I reneged from that aspect of life. But when I met this young lady laying in bed with a bullet in your neck, you cannot talk. You have to listen to this woman that you don't know telling you all your capabilities, giving you aspirations of life, and you having to look at her, you trying to scream, get out my room, and she just sits there and sits there. Every morning you wake up, she's there. So I say, you know what? I have to trust the journey. I I cannot continue to isolate myself thinking that everybody's there to do me harm. Even though I've been through so many negative aspects of life, but I have to learn to say, you know what? If I walk down this lane, this dark street at night where there are no lights, something negative is going to happen. But if I walk on this side of the street where there are lights, you understand, I can trust other people coming towards me and they can trust me because we're visual, we can see each other. But if I'm walking in the dark, I'm always going to be on the edge.
Mm.
So I've decided to change my life to walk where it's more clear. I don't have to worry about who's behind me, who's in front of me. So that's how I came about learning to trust, meditating, having that self-awareness of who I am, what I want. And when the universe, the laws of attraction, the vibrations of the universe, the energy that you put out is the kind of energy you get in return.
Mhm.
So I know I have no ill feelings, no negative feelings towards no one. So I try to open up myself to people, but cautiously. I trust, but to an extent.
Mm. Yeah. The that first trust is also like a the way you described it, it's like a an act of releasing, of surrendering to, I have to trust something. We can say we some people don't see that that it's not that everybody is out to get them. It looks like everybody's out to get them. So what it seems to be is this moment of finding that whatever the story that's in our head that's going on, or what is our reality, is unacceptable. We don't accept that, and we trust that there's something better. There's it's the act of trusting is like an act of release. Would you agree with that?
I do. I feel that sometimes our thought process is what hinders us.
Mm-hmm.
Lydia, I'm thinking about going to steal from somebody's house. So what am I going to think? Somebody's going to steal from my house. You understand? Our thought process leads us in so many different ways. I'm not saying that we should trust everybody openly. All I'm saying is we have to tread cautiously.
We don't have to spill everything out all the time. We present what it is that we need, and we don't, I mean, neither hold back nor spill everything.
Yeah,
Don't just, yeah, there's I liken it to building a bridge. We build our side of the bridge, they have to build their side of the bridge. We'll meet in the middle. We don't just
nice.
throw ourselves across the water.
I feel that every relationship to me, I look because I've been an entrepreneur for such a long time. So every relationship is like a merger to me.
Right.
So I come with mine on the table, you come with yours on the table. I don't look at mine better than yours. I don't look at yours better than mine. I look at it, how can we incorporate?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Same thing.
And that's I'm not better than nobody. Nobody's better than me.
Yeah.
That's how we supposed to look at it, Lydia.
I don't think there's any supposed to. It just is what it is. But what it is with you is that you have created some beautifully um, philanthropic businesses, and it's not philanthropy in that way that people think, oh, we'll give money to this and we'll give money to that, and it's giving more, giving to youths, giving to speakers, teaching everybody how to fish, as it were. What is your what makes you do that? Why do you do what you do?
I discovered my purpose. I discovered the art of self-discipline. When my son got killed, before my son got killed, I thought as an entrepreneur, because I built global speakers, excuse me, Blackline Entertainment, where Wu-Tang, Neo, all of these big artists were my circumference. And Kwazi was one of my producer, and he worked with a lot of big artists. So when I transitioned from that into buying homes in America, I thought this is the journey that I'm supposed to be on, just to make money, enjoy life. But when my son got taken from me, I came to the realization that life is nothing. We can it we're on a journey that has to come to an end. You understand? And me understanding my son the way he was about giving. So me supporting these youths, which indeed Kamara Youth is a global organization now. We support India, Africa, building water pumps. And I just want to I want to do a ripple effect. You understand? If let's help each other. If I can help you, don't worry about helping me. See who you can help. So Camaro Youth is that organization that want to support these youths into becoming pillars of their community. And while I was building Camaro Youths, I was also doing a lot of speaking engagements. Lydia, there's so many phenomenal speakers out there, but they are not given an opportunity. They have coaches charging these speakers $10,000 or 10,000 pounds to coach them how to speak. I'm giving you my hard earned money, Lydia, for you to teach me how to speak. What do I get after that?
Right.
So with me, instead of charging 10,000 to teach you how to speak, I'm going to charge you 5,000, and I'm going to give you the radio, and I'm going to give you the television, and I'm going to give you the speaker training that you're being charged for 10,000, and I'm going to give you the magazine. I'm going to give you virtual stages I'm going to give you a live stage, and everything we do, it's always global.
Mm.
People working so hard for their money, and me paying you that $10,000, how am I going to support my family? You don't care because you got my money now.
Right.
You're not guaranteeing me any speaking engagements. So things like that bothers me, how people take advantage of people's vulnerability, saying we can help you with this. Let's be realistic. People are struggling.
Right.
The thing is that the reason why I give back is because if I do good to you, do good to somebody else.
That's right. It spreads and spreads, and it spreads exponentially when you spread to each person in your class, in your organization, and they spread out to just as many people. It spreads. This is how we do things. There's, I want to touch on something. There's people have offers out there, and this is very much speaking to um, anyone out there who has an offer in which you want to help. We're taught to say that we will fix all of the things in life. Whereas if you're only teaching somebody how to speak, you're not teaching them how to market it. You're not giving them a platform. You're not, and that's okay, because maybe that's not all in somebody's wheelhouse, but they're able to teach them how to speak, or they're able to teach them how to market. Just be transparent, be honest. What is it that you're giving? And and if somebody isn't aligned to you, let it go. Like the people who are aligned to what you have, if you're fully transparent in what you give, then, and that means not saying what might be and what you don't give and what, but just be transparent in what you give. It all just works out. This isn't marketing. This is just like being a human.
Precisely. Absolutely. You know, a lot of people thought I was crazy, Lydia, because when you say marketing, I also have marketing in Global Speakers platform.
Yeah.
You understand? And we also have the aspect of branding because when you come, like my family's all in America. Literally, I'm the only one here in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
So every organization that I built, I say, this is my family. I make sure that we're able to have that communication. If we disagree, we disagree. And me, I engage in every department. There's nobody that can say, oh, Unisa just sits in his office. It's absurd. No. I know everybody's name. Everybody know, oh, he's coming today. You understand? So when I enter, I want to, and how's your family? How's your little boy? Is he still ill? What can we do to support him? When you give, and the thing about I do, Lydia, is that I make people shareholders, like for Global Speakers Platform,
Yep.
that team, everybody has equity.
Sweet.
Does that make sense? So
Yep.
you're actually working for yourself.
Yep. Yes.
This television, the Diamond magazine, the Diamond, because we're on the Diamond Master Class and also the Diamond 360, everybody has equity. So if something happens to you today, God forbid, your family is going to be taken care of. So people that work with me, not for me, but with me, have something to say. This is what I've done for you guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Humanity is beautiful, Lydia.
It certainly is. And there's a lot of stories out there right now that somehow humanity isn't beautiful and that everybody is out for themselves, and that everybody and that neighbors aren't to be trusted, and when you just go out and look for yourself and are honest, it's beautiful. If someone doesn't want something, they can walk away. If we don't want something, we can walk away. And when we like the energy, we can stay with it. It's really pretty simple in that way.
It is. You see, the thing is, the media, me being involved with the media, from television to movie productions and so
Mm-hmm.
forth,
Mm-hmm.
I don't watch a lot of television because between you and I'm not talking to nobody else. No, I'm joking. But people will get controlled by what these negative things are being in the news.
Yeah.
So we come home, we lock the door, ding, 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 ding. However many locks you have, you're in jail. You don't talk to your neighbor. You don't know what your neighbor is going through.
No.
But if something happened to you, you want help. And the neighbor that you've been living next to for over 10 years, you don't even know their name. Could have been the one to save your life.
Yeah.
So with me, wherever I go, I make noise. Hey, you want to go to dinner? They look at me, especially my my new neighbor, because I buy different properties. When I went knocking on the door, hey, my name's Unisa Kamara. What's your name? Like, who's this weirdo?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but life is short, lady.
Indeed. What are you going to do with it? And are you going to sit in a hole? And I mean, if you need to rest, by all means, rest, but you're going to sit in a hole your whole life. You're going to sit behind a locked door your whole life. We're conditioned to take on caution when we see that something says we should have caution. We are conditioned toward that fear. But if you just look at the fact that this is a story, and actually it may or may not be true, and there's a lot more of that story, and it's not what's happening to you. So, do we need to say that, oh, I need to stay away from everyone? I need to stay away from every neighbor, from everyone on the street, or do we just need to be in the light and see who they are and in the open and hear who they are? And then that's where the real stories come out. That's where we find maybe there is something to fear. Maybe we can come together and work together on that. And maybe
Absolutely.
nothing to fear.
You see, the thing is, my daughter says, you're naive. I say, yeah, I know. But the thing is that there are bad people out there. Please understand. It's not everyone that has good intentions. So I'm not saying we should put ourselves out there, you know, for the mayhem, for the disaster. But all I'm saying is it's good to open up a little bit. Before I go into it, let me say a little story. I went out with some partners of mine to this exquisite restaurant in London. And as we were walking in, because you need to like always a force to walk in, let me be the one in the back, just walk in. There was this gentleman that was sitting outside, and everybody passes him, and I walked in. And all he was asking for is, can you get me food? Not, can you give me money? He wasn't holding us a pan, shaking it. So when I went in, everybody was ordering. So I ordered for two.
Yeah.
I went outside, sat down with him, and a lot of people thought I was crazy. I was wearing a suit, and I sat down, ate with him. And I conversed with this gentleman. used to be a professor. He lost his wife. He went through depression. He lost everything. So when we see people out there, we don't know what they've been through.
Ever.
Anything can happen to any one of us. So to me, I've learned to trust a little bit, to open up. And I love listening to people's story. And that's a beauty about the Diamond magazine. Because the reason why we built, not I, we built the Diamond magazine is because there's so many entrepreneurs that are trying to elevate. You understand? And the Diamond magazine, it's only in private jets, private yachts, and so forth. It's for these entrepreneurs that are humane who are trying to help other people reach people that, that cannot reach to them. So I feel as though that's the bridge that we need to come to understand. And to go back, when I said that we should leave ourselves open, I understand the subconscious, people think is all negative. The subconscious hold all these negative memories. It's not. It's the subconscious is actually a reactive. If you've been if you've been in an accident before, the subconscious records that and tells you to take precaution. If you burned yourself before, the subconscious will tell you, be careful with that iron. It's reactive. If you're trying to progress, the subconscious will automatically engage with the conscience or the alpha self to develop you. So it's all on us, on our thought process. So we cannot blame other people for our failures or for our fears. We have to learn to accept life and say, you know what? I am going to take precaution, but I'm going to take risks.
Yeah. And our triggers, the same thing. We don't blaming somebody else for triggering us. We should be thanking them, giving them our gratitude for triggering us because we know what part of us needs some extra introspection, some extra work, some extra possibly grace or discipline or both, so that we can heal that in ourselves because obviously something bothered us, something, there was some fear, something that it took, that something was going to be taken away from us in the past, or perhaps we did have something taken away from us. Perhaps it was dignity. Perhaps it was our life and we came back. Perhaps we had a loss of a loved one. But it doesn't mean that we can't hear that, because if that is so tender in that place, then we need to nurture it. We need to have some discipline with it and say, look, it's not all that way. We can do
Yeah,
that for ourselves. So the trigger is, I love being triggered. I'm not triggered very often, but if something hits me, I say, wow, I didn't realize that that was in there. Or I didn't think it was still in there. It's the best thing in the world. And then I can say, and just that helps us heal.
you see, before you and I even came on the show, we're talking about the thought process and emotions. Now, a trigger is of an emotion. An emotion is of a thought process. So if we come to the understanding of our trigger when a trigger is coming on, I think that can be a process of elevate of self-development. You understand? A lot of me when I engage with people, I try to understand their body language. I know you might be like, oh, that's a psychological aspect of them going to school, kicking out. No, but I try to understand body language, eye movements. You understand? So if I see you react to a certain thing, let me focus on that. What is that about? What caused that? How can we stop that? Or how can we develop that behavior?
Right.
In life, we are going to hit bumps on the road. And if I sit here, Lydia, I'll tell you, I have a perfect life. You're going to look at me like he's lying, he's crazy, he's a nut. Somebody give him his medication, please. But life is not just going to be straight. We're going to go through the curves. We're going to go through the uphills, the downhills, the bumps, but let's enjoy the process because where society is so much going on and it's just so much illness in society now that we are too busy judging others. When I'm judging you, lady, I'm judging you now. And I'm pointing finger at you. How many fingers am I pointing at myself? So instead of me pointing fingers at you, focusing on you, let me focus on me. Let me work on me.
It's a lot of attention that you just suddenly put to good, to helpful, and to possibility. Like, okay, what's going on in me? How can I change that? Is this real? Just questioning your assumptions. Is this real? Instead of pointing to somebody else, which is blind. Blame is blinding. Blame and judgment, we stop thinking because we believe that we know. Oh, there's the problem. They have a problem. They are a problem. We don't know. We never know. The moment you know, you're done.
Mhm.
Done learning. You're done growing.
You see, the funny thing is that when I talk to the community leaders, I ask questions. And for your viewers, I hope you don't mind me playing a little game with them that are going to watch this. Would it be okay?
It's fine. I play games all the time. I don't ask their permission. And we love the audience, but they know that this is all
It's self-developed.
yeah.
Okay. Now, when I deal with people, I like to know their thought process of elevation.
Mm.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you to just get a pen and a piece of paper.
Oh,
Now, I want you to write down today's date, and I want you to write down maybe 5 goals. What is important to you out of these 5 goals, and which one do you want to achieve? Now, think about the one that if you achieve right now, you can elevate other people, elevate your community, your family. Out of those 5 goals, just pick one. Now, once you pick that one, just circle it for me. Now, turn the paper around on the other side, write down that same goal. Now, after you have written that goal down, I want you to put it in past tense. I have achieved my goal. I am owning this. I am. And a lot of people might think this is a form of affirmations, but affirmations are a form of empowerment. So once you have written this down, write down at least another 5 of that. Give yourself a deadline. Now, this is how focused you're going to prove yourself to be to yourself, not nobody else, but to you. Give yourself a deadline and say, within 2 weeks, I intend to accomplish this goal. I intend to own this. I intend to say, I've done it. Now, what I want you to do now is simple. I want you to sit down, put a plan in place. How do I intend to accomplish this goal? Now, with that one, I want you to write down 10 things, not five. I'm not going to make it easy on you. Write down 10 things. Now, this is your call of action to accomplish this goal by that due date. When I moved to London, I did not know anyone, but my wife then and my daughter, who I moved here to be a part of her life. My ex-wife and I were driving by one of the hottest radio stations here in the UK. And I was looking at it, I said, I want to have a radio show there. She looked at me and said, they're not going to take you. You're wasting your mind. You're wasting your time. And me, I love challenges. I said, oh yeah, I'm going to get a radio show there. I went home. That night, I structured my plan. Same plan I've given you, because I'm not going to give you a challenge that I've not put through myself. And I have so many challenges that I can put you through, and I can give you solutions. And within a month, I got a show at that radio station. And from there, I got another show at another radio station. And one day I sat down with her and said, I want a TV show. She said, you're overdoing it. Oh my God, this is not America. I said, let me go back to my craziness. I wrote down another plan. Before I went to bed, I read it every night. Once, as soon as I wake up, this is what you have to do. And I put action in. I ended up getting 2 TV shows. All I wanted was one. And this is the crazy point, Lydia. This is gonna blow your mind because he blew her mind and my mind. I said, I want to be in a movie. Who want to put this face in a movie? I ended up being in the movie 4 months later. And I became a shareholder of that film production company. I gave you a challenge for you to challenge yourself. I'm so honored to be here with Lydia. And I love challenging people everywhere I go. Take heed to that challenge. You can accomplish anything you want. Lydia, that's it. I would love to know I would love to know your goals and objectives, but we'll talk about that later.
I did. So everybody do this thing. You know how to hit reverse, so you can hear what he said again, right? I wrote this down. I'm going to do it because I think about this stuff a little bit. And you know that I feel this stuff a little bit, but I also want to keep questioning my assumptions and say, hey, what is it that I haven't done that I actually let go in my heart? What do I actually want, and what is my goal, and what am I sitting back and complaining about? Because we all will sit back and sit and complain about something. So do it. I'm doing it. You do it too. And yes,
Well done.
we will talk about it later. So, I was going to ask you what, one quick and dirty tip you have is before we leave the audience. You just gave them a whole course to do. You gave them intention and something for their schedule every day, or to really sit down with this and do. What's a quick and dirty tip that you'd give them if they're just feeling like, life's a shit show?
I want you all to think about this. Every time you pass a graveyard, think about all their goals. Well, they say the graveyard is the richest place on this world because so many people have dreams and aspirations. I remember I had the most beautiful minded individual working with me. And one day she came to me because I support my family, my team. And when she came to me, she said, I think I'm ready to leave you now. I'm ready to branch on my own. I said, well, okay, you're going to leave me? She's like, yeah. So what she didn't know was I planned a party for her and we celebrated her. Now, one thing she failed to realize, as I spoke before, I spoke about the subconscious. So when she left, she was going, she kept going and hit a wall. She called me and said, hey, I need support. I said, okay, that's fine. I'm here to support you. But also remember, when you hit that wall, how did you get through that wall? Because as you go in life, you have to be consistent and you have to be persistent in your learning. You know, it's not everybody who's going to be there to support you. You have to support yourself and support those around you so they can support you. So it's a circle. She ran again and hit a bigger wall. Now, this time, she hit a big wall. She said, I'm ready to come back and work for you. I don't think this is right for me. Wait. I mean, you're giving up on yourself. And that's one thing I don't encourage. Regardless how big a situation is, as an entrepreneur, your objective is to sit down and think about what you've been through and how can you get over that wall. Now, Lydia, let me ask you a question. I'm going to dig into you for a minute, then I know this is coming to an end. As an entrepreneur, you hit a wall 6 feet high. That means about 1,000 centimeters width. How do you think you can pass that wall?
I go around it.
You don't have a hammer, you don't have a drill.
I just go around it.
Well done. And how do you think you can go around that wall?
You didn't say what side of the wall I'm on. I might be on the end of it.
But now I gave you, the distance, but you have to have the resilience, isn't it, to keep pushing on.
Yeah, there's
And they have to be persistent to keep.
the resilience and the understanding of going on with possibilities, not problems, not limitations. Don't look at the wall as a limitation. It's a possibility.
That's what I wanted you to say right there. It's a possibility of growth
Yep.
because that wall is there to structure you and develop you and strengthen you. So if you don't have that will to say, you know what, this is just another hump on the road, then who are you as an entrepreneur? That is what builds an entrepreneur. And from that experience, you're able to empower other entrepreneurs.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being on the show with me, Unisa.
It's a
More
pleasure.
to do. Um, we will conclude this by saying that if you all want to reach out to Unisa, all of his information, or so, at least enough of his information for you to get through, is down in the show notes. And if you know somebody who's in your community, in your family, in your church, at work, maybe it's you who has lifted themselves and is lifting others by their actions, by their demeanor, by their support, whatever it is. If you think that somebody should be on this show, reach out and let me know. And maybe it's you, because the world needs that special something that only you have as well. Thank you for being on the show, Unisa. And everybody, if you like the show, please hit like. And if you haven't done it yet, and you want to see more, gently push that subscribe button. We appreciate you. Thank you. Great to be here with you. Take care. Bum ba da da dee da da dee da 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 dum. Bum ba dee da dee da da ba da 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 ba dum. Bum ba da dee da 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 dee da 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 dum. Bum ba da dee da dee da da ba.